Breaking Bad? Like a little bit. Oh, hello, sir. Oranges! Sorry, not over it. Wait, were there even oranges involved with Don Lardio? I don't even know. Hello. Okay. Oh, this is present, I'm getting. Maybe.
Volviste!
Is this the same pool that we saw in Breaking Bad? The same place? Yes, it is. Interesting we start with a shot of the pool.
Bueno, dime, ¿cuáles son las grandes noticias?
Ah, and a drink in the foreground as well. That's funny. Sorry, funny in a real macabre way.
Jiménez, que está aquí, era su.
Right, they're looking for another way to transport their product.
Pero con este tienes que tener cuidado, que se portarte bien.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Getting like the dynamic between Don Lardio and Hector. Hector is a little bit of he's kind of his dog, a little bit, in the sense that he's putting a lot of it on Hector. Hector, don't cross this guy, don't cross this guy. And Hector is very much this personification outwardly as this dangerous man. He's very threatening. He's very much like, don't you step out of line. Don Lardio, I think, embodies that as well, but he's a little bit more Gus-like in the way that he delivers that. He very much has this facade of friendliness, of kind of, hey, come here, man, you're my friend, aren't you? Oh, Hector, just careful of him, just careful. He's the one, do you know what I mean? And he puts a lot of that on Hector. Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic they've got, because obviously we know Don Lardio really is probably the most dangerous one. I mean, he's the head of the family, or head of the cartel.
Oh, Sabrosito.
Sabrosito.
¿Se parece a mí?
Careful. Yikes.
Hey, bolsa!
He looked very like Jimmy there for a moment. I did wonder if we were going to see this guy though. Yeah, I have a feeling we're going to see a little bit of this man and Gus. Maybe a little bit of tension between those two.
Una camiseta. Pollos hermanos.
Yo diría los culos, hermano.
Oh, I see. So are we confirming there, Gus and Max? Because I think in Breaking Bad it was a little bit more ambiguous, but I do feel like that's a crude way of signaling that was in fact what their relationship was.
Allí.
3 bags. Very significant.
Wow.
Yeah. Is that Gus?
Gustavo le manda saludos.
Yeah.
Todo esto en solo un mes.
Man's doing well.
Un genio de la distribución.
Yes, he is.
¿Ves, Héctor?
Ah, and Hector's failing a little bit.
Pues quiero insistir que de ahora en adelante no más ligas.
I see a future in which Hector comes for Gus. This is, you very much kind of know, I feel like, that Hector's seething under the surface here. Hector can't hit back at Don Lardio, but there is one person he can hit back at, even if he can't prove anything. And I don't think Hector even suspects Gus at this point. Maybe he does. I'm not really saying that, but I do feel like Hector, being the man that he is going to see this and be like, Gus, ah! You know what I mean? He's going to take it out on him a little bit. And I do wonder, I mean, we know Gus is gunning for Hector anyway, but I wonder if Hector's going to force his hand, actually.
Está impresionante, ¿no?
¿Eso qué?
Me parece que alguien está un poco celoso.
Yeah, a little bit.
¿Qué me dices, Sabrosito, de Don Héctor?
Uh-oh.
Me dice Sabrosito que le gusta
Okay.
más grande que el tuyo.
Yeah, we're seeing here, despite the representations, almost the archetypes that Hector and Don Lardio are, or Hector is more specifically, despite that. And we know obviously Don Lardio is the leader, especially if you've watched Breaking Bad, which I have. But I think this very much proves that Don Lardio is on top, despite Hector's representation and the person he is, the role, I guess, that he inhabits. Hector, he almost comes across more overtly dangerous, but I think there is something under the surface with Don Lardio in his ease. It's very interesting. The ease that he has around people like Hector makes him feel more dangerous because he's not ruffled by it, right? And that's like, oof, because it's like, okay, this man's dangerous. It's just interesting how the framing of these two characters and where they are and what kind of characters they are, what they have in their depths, you know. It's interesting how the show is displaying that to us.
No seas así.
Interesting we flashed to Bolsa's face because I do feel like Hector is more powerful than Bolsa in the hierarchy. And funny, look, Don Lardio does this.
Me dice Sabrosito que le gusta
Yeah.
más grande que el tuyo.
This kind of looks at, look at Bolsa, doesn't react, nothing. Because I feel like if he laughs at all, Hector will go, the f are you doing? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, again, subtly shows that dynamic and the hierarchies at play here. It goes Don Lardio, I think, Hector, Bolsa. It's funny how it conveys that in just his straight face there.
Sabrosito, que el tuyo está bonito.
Yeah, Don Lardio also, subtly, not so subtly, kind of saying to Hector, you're falling behind, sort it out.
Está buena la camiseta, eh?
Queda bien.
Hello, one-on-one, Bolsa, Hector. What's cracking?
No lo insultes.
Insult him. Gus, are we going to get Hector Gus this episode?
¿Qué estás mirando?
Yeah, my man, you should make yourself scarce, yeah. Yeah, interesting, that shot through the pool. I think it reminds me of the Gus and Max thing, and obviously what happens there, and you get that shot in the pool, right? And the episode started with that shot in the pool, Don Lardio coming into it. And it's interesting, the significance of the pool. Again, this is very much down to interpretation. My interpretation of that is I think that shot from up out of the pool at these people is like, these guys' time is finite. I think it's very much this representation, that shot, that specific shot, harkens back to Max and what that led to for him. I think the episode opening, Don Lardio coming to the pool kind of signifies that for him a little bit. Lingering before we go into the opening credits on Hector also is a little bit of a warning for Hector, I think, about what's going to happen to him in this show as well, I think. I don't think it spells very good things for him. That little shot through the pool, I think, is foreshadowing a little bit. Hello and welcome to another Better Call Saul Sunday. That's right, the show that happens every single Sunday until we are finished with it. Welcome, thank you for being here today. Episode 4, Sabrosito, and let's see what it holds. Flamingo check. It's pure vodka, that. Hello, Sabrosito. Oh dear, is it busted already? The DEA, Hanky boy! Where is he? Mike?
I popped this house.
It's good?
It's great.
Good, nice to check in.
The neighborhood's friendly.
That's good.
Yeah.
Do you want to come over for dinner?
No, I don't want to put you out.
It's funny how I do feel like Mike, because he is working for Gus really at this point, but he's not really working for Gus. I wonder how long it is until we get a sit down with him and Gus kind of almost giving him a Walter-esque deal of, hey, I'll pay you X amount a year, work for me, boom, bing, bang, bosh. And we'll get like a little bit of a kind of almost a comparison in that sense of Mike and Walter.
Ice cream. Oh, is she snoozing? Ice cream.
Oh, too late, nearly got away. It's interesting. I do wonder, I was going to say actually that she's a smart lady. I wonder if she knows that he's doing something. Because I feel like it's hit a point where it's like, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? I wonder if she'll question him on it or leave well enough alone. Oh, hello. No, she's looking, okay.
You okay?
Okay, good, check in, yeah.
I'm fine.
Mike, are you sleeping, mate? Because I am concerned. Oh, Nacho, my boy. He's a very light touch on this series so far, isn't he? There we go. Yeah. We are getting a little bit of a sit down. Interesting as well, isn't it? Because Gus is going to hate this because Hector is coming in. And by Hector coming in like this, he is giving the game away a little bit. If anyone was watching, do you know what I mean? I don't think he will give the game away. Not the point, though.
I need drink.
Well, like I said, he's not here.
Oh, dear.
Can I take a message?
I wait.
You want to order some chicken or something, mate? Or
Okay, sir, if you don't mind, there are other customers.
oh, God. Don't reach there. No.
You said the 12-piece?
Yeah, the 12-piece.
What's he doing?
Excuse me, sir. There's no smoking on the premises.
He's going to burn it down.
It's a health code violation.
Yeah, this is going against everything that this place should be for Gus. Very secretive. Even if Gus took him into the back, right? Again, that's compromising the secrecy. If Gus is seen to be taking someone like Hector, who I think is probably known as who he is, that compromises Gus's secrecy.
Employees only.
Yeah, good on her.
Sir?
My man called the cops at this point. Well, I mean, I don't think he should, but I just... Oh, okay. Oh, Nacho, yeah.
Sir.
Yeah, nice Nacho. Oh, okay. It's funny, isn't it, how Nacho coming in, and like I say, light touch on the series. His introduction, I think, initially with Tuco, I think paints him as a very reasonable person, actually, because he's next to Tuco, right? It's funny how the show keeps doing this. And because of Tuco's insanity, Nacho, by comparison, is automatically more sane, regardless of how he is or who he is. Then we kind of get to see him a bit on his own. We see him a little bit interacting with Jimmy, and we see that he is a little bit, there is a little bit of an edge to him. That season 1 arc with the Kettlemans and everything, that whole shtick, we saw a little bit of the individual that is Nacho and a little bit of a harder edge. Then we actually get him with Mike coming in, and he's a bit more reasonable. Interesting. He's actually playing ball with Mike, right? He's smart because Mike's coming at him with logic, and he's like, okay, fair enough. Then we go on further. We see him interacting with Mike a little bit more. We see him accept Mike's tendency to be a little bit gentler, to not kill, right? Mike is like, yeah, we're not doing it that way. I'm not going to kill him. I'm going to do this instead. And Nacho's like, cool, fair enough. Then we see Mike and his reaction in regard to the bystander, and Nacho's cool with that too. No large repercussions there from Nacho's side of it. Now we're seeing this, and actually, you know, that little look across the room, this here.
Sir.
Nice. One, actually shows the power dynamic here. Nacho is obviously below Hector. This guy, I think, is below even Nacho. Or if not below, this guy respects Nacho. Tells you a little bit about Nacho as well in that. But more importantly, shows that Nacho has this sliver. More so, I mean, we've seen it, like I said already, with a little bit with Mike, this sliver of goodness. As much as he is a criminal and he's doing his thing, there is that sliver of goodness there. And I think there's some differentiation, for example, between him and like someone like Hector. And so it's interesting, right? So I'm seeing these different kind of almost versions of Nacho in the same way, I suppose. Not in the same way, but in a similar way that I kind of talked about last episode with Gus and the different facets to him. And it puts me in this really interesting position with Nacho, because I'm not actually sure who he is. Or it's not that so much, it's just that I've seen so many different sides of Nacho that I'm getting a bit of a fragmented picture, to the point that whatever happens going forward with his character, I'm not quite sure where they're going to go with it, because they could go in a direction that is a little bit more typical antagonist, maybe villain, criminal, but they could also go with this other side. I think the kind of show that it is, they're going to go a little bit more nuanced with Nacho, right? We are specifically being shown a gentler side to him as well, and it just puts me in a very interesting position with him, I think, because like I say, there's so many options to go forward with that kind of character, and I don't know what role Nacho is necessarily going to fit into because of that, because we are seeing different sides, you know. Yeah, very interesting. And I think because, like I say, he's a lighter touch on this show. We haven't seen a lot of him. We've seen snatches and bits and bobs of him, right? And I think because of that, and because of the combination that we've got when it comes to him of different sides and different sides to his character, it just puts you as the audience in this interesting position of like, ooh, I don't know quite what we're going to get with Nacho. Could go this way, this way, this way, this way. Whatever story we get with him eventually, it is going to be a little bit more nuanced, which excites me more. He's not just one note. Do you know what I mean? Like, if we feel focused on, like we are a little bit with Hector, he is a bit more one note. I know what his character is going to do generally in any given situation. Nacho, not sure. That's what I mean. There's a bit of differentiation between an antagonist, a criminal like Hector, and one like Nacho.
Sir, you're not allowed back here.
My man, read the room. Hector, mate, you should start thinking about like a business card or something. Or like, do you know what I mean? Like identification. You know, like the cops come and they're like, I'm a cop, let me in. Right, that's not what they say. They absolutely don't hold it like that. Like a banner. Although that would be a bit more fun. They should maybe think about that. I don't know, who knows. Just have like a banner carrier, just walking behind, just being like, this is the cop. I mean, we all know they're cops, right? They've got cars and stuff and like hats and all that shtick. But I'm just saying, man, just bring banners back. Do you know what I mean? A lot of respect with that role. That's what I'm saying. You know, banner bearer, make it a title and everything. Beautiful. Anyway, my point is, Hector should get one of those, because do you know what I mean? This guy's not taking him seriously. He doesn't know the context, right? You have a banner man behind you being like, fucking cartels. You know to fuck off. I'm just saying it would streamline the whole thing.
Gus Fring is a pillar of our local business community.
Oh, hello. Yeah, he's building up his connections, isn't he?
Thank you.
Smart guy. My man, you got to deal with this.
Yes.
Fire department. He really does. He's going through his departments, isn't he? DEA, fire department, cops. It's part of his strategy. Absolutely, it's part of his strategy. You know, it just ensures him more. Very clever move, you know. As much as he's doing what he's doing on the logistical side of it and the business side of it, he is kind of touching on that socio-political side of it as well, which, do you know what I mean? His plan is so foolproof. It really does take someone like Walter and someone as erratic as Walter to bring that down.
I'll be right there.
Yeah, he must have known this was coming, though.
I want you all to go home now.
You will be compensated for your full shifts.
Oh, bless him.
Normal schedule tomorrow.
This guy's going to have questions, though, surely.
We are closed for today.
Hey, day off work. Awesome. Hey, this went really good for these guys, to be fair to them.
Mr. Fring, You sure you want to be left with these guys?
You go home.
Should I call someone?
People who, bless him.
Please do as I ask. I'll see you tomorrow.
Oh, well handled by Gus. Bless this guy. Bless him. Hey, he's earned his place. Do you know what I mean? Assistant manager. Boom. Smashed it. Smashed that. Yeah, no, to be fair though, these guys, I wondered in Breaking Bad how much the front of house staff knew. This makes me, even more curious about that. They must know something's going on. The way that Gus just came in and was calm. The way that he talked to this assistant manager guy and he was like, go home, I've got it. It's fine, don't worry. Like, you'd start thinking in the back of your mind, do you know what I mean? Like, what connections has Gus got to these guys? It's interesting. And I wonder whether Gus is gonna, I don't recognize this guy, so I wonder whether he's just gonna slowly change the staff, right? Because you can't have that. You can't have your staff suspecting. I think this kind of moment will make him actually like fully just change his staff, because that's a security leak right there. I wonder if slowly he will kind of kill them all off. That would be a Gus move, do you know what I mean? Because it would, I think secrecy, the essence of secrecy is so vital at this point, especially considering like we've just seen next to this scene, arrayed next to this scene, him being at the fire department and schmoozing and building up those connections. And I think it's very on purpose that we're seeing that scene next to this scene and this idea of his image. And I think this tarnishes his image actually. And I do think that perhaps slowly, and he'll do it slowly, and maybe not, maybe all at once, but I think he'll get rid of them, as in just fire them. Somehow he'll extricate them from Los Pollos. And I do wonder, because even if he does that, if anyone got suspicious that, you know, I'm trying to think like Gus almost, and it's like, to me, I would be thinking like, if anyone ever gets suspicious of me, they might start investigating people that have worked at the place. And it's like, if they go and talk to them, these guys right now can give the cops a field day. Be like, oh, well, that one time this really weird thing happened, I don't really know what it meant, but the cops and the DEA will be able to put that together, especially if they identified Hector. Do you know what I mean? To me, that speaks of he might get rid of them. We'll see.
I know where he is.
I love that we're seeing this, by the way.
My employees are civilians. Your actions here today have endangered them,
Yeah.
my interests, and those of the cartel.
Yeah.
I am the cartel.
Yeah, and that's the problem.
From now on, you are my mule. You are going to bring my product north.
Hector's got too much power and not enough brains. Or at least we're seeing him be ruled so much by his own ego. See that a lot in these shows, don't we?
Adding more product will threaten the reliability of the entire operation.
Right, yeah.
Did Donnie Ladio approve this?
I approve this.
Ooh, are we gonna see a little bit of a power play? I mean, we've already seen in that first scene the power dynamics between Don Ladio and Don Hector. I do wonder how much blessing Gus gets in regard to what he might do to Hector from Don Ladio. I wouldn't put it past Don Ladio giving the order, considering what I'm seeing of Hector and the way that he's power playing here a little bit.
You are doing it.
Yeah, he can't. Gus has very intricately put this together. He can't just add X amount. He's going to have to go to Eladio Balsa. Bless him. Oh, hello. A little smile. Yeah, very nice little operation Mike's got going on now, huh? It's good work.
Tell him we're square.
Okay, I guess he doesn't want to be tied or indebted to Gus, which is wise. He knows very little about Gus at this point. Hello, are we focusing on Gus then this episode and all of this side of it? Because it's interesting. I just had the thought, I was like, we haven't even touched on Jimmy yet at all, which is nice. Again, it's interesting. I mean, it's, you know, we got about half an hour left to go in the episode, so maybe we'll get some Jimmy, Kim, Chuck. But if we don't, I do feel, even if we just have it in the first half of this episode, it's a nice palate cleanser for last episode. And I think like I've been saying, I said in the finale of last season, I personally was getting a little bit weary of the brother dynamic, right? In the sense that I think, you know, Kim and Howard are almost getting, it's like, oh, again, guys, come on, can we stop? Can we just get on with our lives a little bit? Do you know what I mean? So it's not that I'm not enjoying it as part of the show, but I think there is an element of like, every episode we just get this, you know, it's just one thing after the other. It's just them hitting back and hitting again and blah, blah, blah. And anyway, I'm enjoying that. I am. But I do think breaking up the pacing of it with this, especially going into it a little bit more heavily, perfect. Good timing. And it does serve to take you away from that side of that story with Jimmy and everybody, and to make that all the better when you go back to it. Yeah, we are seeing him deal with the staff. Okay. I really like that we're having these little details put in. Especially that boy. He's got some questions. Yeah.
Excuse me, everyone.
Yeah, it's so nice that we're getting this addressed and these details are in the show. Details are almost so small that any other show would just gloss over them, and it's not really important to the grander story being told, so they wouldn't tell it. But I'm interested. Again, I was asking the question. So it's like, do you know what I mean? Like, this show kind of trains you to be interested in this kind of thing. And yeah, it's nice that it's giving me that.
Could you all please take a moment and join me out here? Please, come.
I'm going to go back. I'm going to walk back what I was kind of saying about killing them. I think he's going to try everything he can before he does that. I think these people, as much as they are this side of the business, the legitimate business, they work for him. And I think they come under this thing of care that I think we've seen in regard to Gus and the people that work for him. Unless they endanger the business, he is responsible for them. And I think he takes that very seriously.
I would like to apologize. You all acquitted yourselves impeccably.
They did.
If any of you wish to seek counseling due to lingering,
Oh my God.
speak with me privately. And
Holy Gus Fring being the one to show everybody how a boss should manage his people. How many people have you folks worked for? And this would have been on the table, offered straight out of the gate. He's so considerate to the people that work for him.
you will all be receiving 24 hours of overtime, as I am sure in one way or another each of you brought this incident home with you.
Mate, he's such a good boss.
Who were those guys?
Yeah, you got to deal with that somehow. Family? Play the chuck card.
They wanted money. I paid them. But yesterday,
Be very careful, Gus, because I feel like this assistant manager will go to the cops on your behalf. Because he seems like a nice guy and he cares for Gus.
I thought, no, this is America.
Ah.
Here, those men have no power.
Okay, these guys are going to eat that up.
And when they saw that I had no fear of them, they ran back across the border.
Hey, he's very convincing.
They will not return. We will move
Oh, he's sold. He's ready to go to war, mate.
together. We will prosper.
All right.
To be fair, he earned that round of applause, man. There we go. Nice. Okay, we're back in. Yeah, I still think that's a great opening to this episode. I know we've got Mike and we've got Gus, obviously, this season 2, but I think the show has been very heavy-handed. Again, not in a bad way, but very heavy-handed on the Jimmy Chuck side of the story, right? That has been the main focus. And I think because they've ushered Gus in, they can spend a little bit more time with the Mike and the Gus story, right? I kind of lump them in together because I think Mike is very much in that kind of story more so than he is with Jimmy's, even though there's crossover. And I think considering the heavy-handedness of this side of the story, I think starting this episode with a little bit more of the Dons and that side of things, it just feels really good. It's also a larger, wider connection to Breaking Bad. It feels more Breaking Bad than it does Better Call Saul. And for me, who's come off Breaking Bad, it feels very good, very almost nostalgic to watch that, really gratifying to kind of watch that kind of thing. And I think, like I say, opening the episode, having the first half, 25 minutes of the episode focusing on that, I think was such a good idea and worked so well for the pacing of the season.
Hello, I'm calling to confirm an appointment for Charles McGill. McGill, with an M. Adore? Oh.
Hello.
I thought it was you guys.
Very interesting. This feels a little bit like Kim is delving into the Slippin' Jimmy world, actually. This feels very illegitimate.
2:30 tomorrow? We're gonna need to cancel that. I will.
Oh, poor Frisky. Pomeranians can be difficult.
Francesca absolutely smashing that job, dude.
No. Thank you. How many calls did that take?
Right?
I lost track. Is that it?
Yeah, dude, Mesa Verde, are you working on that or what? Like,
Destroyed property.
I tried damaged the victim's property.
Kim helping him. Interesting, the way that when Jimmy offered to help with her work and her clients, and she was like, no, I can't just do that. I suppose it's a little bit different, right? Because Jimmy's not, I suppose Jimmy is technically her client if we're taking it that way. Sorry, it doesn't really matter, I suppose, the nitty gritty of it. I think the interesting part of it is that Kim is very much on his side, which isn't surprising. And she is on his side, of course she is. But yeah, something I've not really addressed, I suppose, is the way that, at the end of last episode, Kim was the one to kind of push him to fight, actually. And it's funny, I think, because she's in a place where she can see everything that Chuck's doing. I think Kim is also a little bit of an insert for the audience because she is the kind of the one person in this. And she's also, a little bit biased towards Jimmy, and Jimmy being the protagonist and told in the way that he's been told in this story, as he is to the audience, you are kind of enamored towards him in the same way that Kim is enamored towards him. We like him as a person. He's very likable, very charismatic, you know what I mean? We almost have a symbiotic relationship with Kim in the same way towards Jimmy, right? She's kind of like that character. And so she can see everything that's happening. She can see what Chuck's doing. She can see the effect it's having on Jimmy as well. So it's interesting that the show has maneuvered her into this position in the show where she is very much on his side, despite what we've seen of her character before, where she's very much almost Chuck-esque in the sense of, no, dude, stop breaking the law. Hey, no, walk that line. Stop it. Do you know what I mean? She's kind of walked back from that and now changed almost her tack to be closer to maybe Jimmy's interpretation of the law, right? It's just interesting that the dynamics and the way that she has subtly shifted, I think. But it makes absolute sense as well, considering her position in the show and the way that she's arranged logistically and emotionally, you know, towards the characters.
Yeah, that's nice.
Like, she's all in.
Thank you. Seriously.
Yeah, she's doing a lot.
You're welcome, seriously.
Like, she's great. Like, Kim's awesome. I love Kim.
Martin's repair.
Yeah.
Hello. Okay.
It's this way.
So interesting to see just Mike and Chuck together, actually. I love that the show did this and put them together.
The door itself is intact.
Are they bugging him?
There was a time, remember, when we could leave our doors unlocked.
I certainly do.
Where do I plug in?
You don't.
No problem.
I'm sorry. I understood there would be no power tools of any kind.
Chuck, how do you want him to do it? Serious question.
What, a screwdriver and a hammer?
Yeah.
Very well.
Gets him out of the way, at least.
It's good. Okay, what I'll do, I think is...
Just make yourself scarce, mate. Go on. Yeah. Oh my god, this shot is amazing. I love that. Favorite scene in the show. Okay, what is the plan?
A gas lantern sitting on a stack of friggin' Financial Times.
Wow. Ah, a season 1 payoff. Yeah, because this was mentioned by the Doctor, I think, in season 1. The gas lamps that he uses are, I guess, like very dangerous, highly dangerous. I remember at the time because people came in the comments because I was like, oh, it's not that bad. This was at a time when, you know, Chuck was presented to us as a nice guy. Wow, different times. And people were down in the comments being like, no, they're really dangerous. Like, fair play. And I guess maybe illegal. It's so interesting that we have that season 1 thread coming back into it. Because, sorry, I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but I assume that's the point, to try and get something on him. Because they know, obviously, Jimmy knows all the stuff that he does and maybe how the different degrees of illegality maybe that Chuck is kind of delving into with some of that stuff. I don't know if it is illegal, but yeah, we'll find out, I suppose.
And that other thing?
Yeah, and Kim fine with that. They've obviously formulated this plan. Jimmy was like, I've got a guy. Don't worry about it. Do you know what I mean? Like a handyman, a fixer. And Kim didn't bat an eyelid. She was like, you sure it's the right guy? And he was like, yeah. You know, nothing. It's funny. It's just interesting the way that Kim is being insinuated into this world, this flipping Jimmy world. But she's putting it on and it's fitting more comfortably than it used to.
What'd you think of him? He's a bit of a right?
All right, Jimmy, chill out. He barely talked to the guy.
I did it right.
Thank you.
Nice to fix something for once.
Oh, bless him.
Hell, if that's how you feel, I got a leaky toilet back at the office. If you ever need anything from my end, I'll still away go.
Yeah, their relationship, unfortunately, is very transactional. I say unfortunately because I do feel like Jimmy wants to be his mate, you know. Handyman, bless him. He just wants to make stuff. Oh, I love that. I love that for Mike. Man, you should do that. You need a hobby. Honestly, make one of those hobbies sleep, please, for the love of God. Oh, hello, the man himself again.
May we talk?
Again, lots of respect that Gus keeps turning up to him. At the same time, I suppose, at this point in the show, or the timeline, I suppose more specifically, Gus isn't what he was in Breaking Bad, you know what I mean? He's a power player, but he's maybe not at the heights that he was in Breaking Bad, so it maybe makes more sense that he's doing a bit more of his dirty work himself.
You sent back the payment we agreed upon.
What I did, I didn't do for you.
Right, okay.
The man, the one killed for helping the truck driver.
It's not the kind of thing I want to take money for.
Right.
I'm just glad to have Salamanca out of my head.
Fair play to you, mate. Just want to sleep. Good. Finally.
Well, perhaps in the future,
yeah?
you will consider working for me.
I told you, man. Honestly, Mike's such a good person to have on board too. He doesn't care what your business is.
Could be.
Mm-hmm.
That'll depend on the work.
Right, he's still doing this. Okay. Yeah, we're still not quite at that Mike yet, where he's willing to do anything. I wonder what changes that. I'm very curious.
Would you care to know why I stopped you from killing Hector?
Wow, opening up. I think this is so interesting from Gus here. I think it shows just how isolated he is. Who has he got? Max is gone. Sure, he has lackeys, but no one of like mind. I don't think Gus wants to be this ruthless man. He became it out of necessity after what happened with the cartels and for his revenge. But I don't think this was ever what he would have wanted for himself. He seems like a man driven by circumstance rather than a ruthless killer at heart. Someone as honest, as innately good-hearted as Mike he's opening up to here. Mike has demonstrated he's not only good but ruthless as well, in the same way as Gus in that respect. And I think Gus sees someone of common mind and circumstance. They're different people, of course, but very similar in focal ways. As hard and ruthless as Gus is, I think he sees someone in Mike he hasn't had around him in a long time. Someone who could understand him. I think that's why he offers what he offers here. I think he's lonely, like any human would be, and this vendetta is very isolating, and it's sort of lovely to see him open up in this way to someone. It's very human and endearing, and like I say, I think gives us a glimpse into how Gus is just as human as the rest of us, despite who he is and what he's done. And there's some tragedy in what he felt he had to become.
A bullet to the head would have been far too humane.
Ooh. Yeah, he is opening up a little bit more to Mike, isn't he? Interesting. It makes sense though, because like Mike is someone you can trust. We know that as the audience, right? And Gus is a very good judge of character, and I think from everything that Mike's been saying to him, Gus can tell that.
Howard.
Interesting getting these two guys back in the same room. Right. Chucky boy's coming, is he? Ooh, okay. All right, everyone stay calm.
Jimmy?
Jimmy boy? Just no one say hi. You know what I mean? You can just say hello. You don't have to be like, Jimmy, Tyler. It's like, hey, calm down. Sorry, it's not that, but it's a little aggressive. Don't.
Howard?
Nah. I was gonna be like, don't say Jimmy, for the love of God.
Kim?
Chuck?
Mate, look, say howdy. F it. Throw all the rules out the window, man. Fucking lawyers. Lawyers. Hello, hello, hello. Let's get down to it, eh?
Good afternoon.
Good, a normal greeting. Thank you, lady.
You'll let me know if you need a break or anything else.
I will, thank you, Miss Hay.
Oh, Jimmy looking at him is like, his little tightening of the eyes, a little squint that he had. It's like, you've been nice to Chuck. Wow, okay, didn't expect that. You know, and I feel like in his head, remembering that line that he said to Chuck, was it last episode, where it was like, you know, without me, you'll die. I mean, he truly believes that. And hey, at that same time, I agreed with him. I was like, you know, because I'd been seeing that too. I've been saying a lot without Jimmy there. Or for whatever other reason, right, because of this vendetta, Chuck's gonna end up dead, right? It's kind of been something I think that has been pushed a little bit more towards the audience for various reasons, right? And I think that the little squint that he did there was like almost a thing of like, there's other people that will do that for him. Oh God, okay. You know what I mean? It's the first time I think that maybe has penetrated Jimmy's mind. And actually for the first time, it's kind of almost the idea, I think, penetrating Jimmy's mind of like, without me, Chuck might be okay. Damn, I didn't honestly think that was a reality that could be. Yeah, I think that's what that was. And he's a little bit knocked for that, I think. This, look at this.
I will, thank you, Miss Hay.
Yeah. And I wonder actually as well whether a little bit of that is almost jealousy, because to a certain extent, she's taken over for Jimmy. He kind of sees a little bit maybe of himself in her, right? This idea, this thing that he's kind of put behind him now. The life that he used to have in looking after Chuck and being gentle and warm and having that relationship with Chuck is almost in front of him right now in this lady, right? She's kind of breaching that wall of familiarity, actually. And I think maybe there is a little bit of jealousy from Jimmy there. It's really sad if that is the case as well. You know, this thing in front of him of what he's lost.
I was actually speaking to my husband about your condition.
Oh yeah, it goes deeper.
I had an aunt when the boys' choir sang, she would absolutely have to leave. The frequency of their voices really did a number.
I mean, I don't want to...
Well, that is a shame.
Indeed. I don't want to like burst anyone's bubble, but maybe they were just shit. Like, hey, man, look, they might have been awesome. I don't know, I wasn't there, right? Don't get up my grill, okay? I'm just saying. Just feel like we haven't, you know, plumbed the depths of everything that might have been going on there.
All right. On the second Monday of every month for the next 12 months.
Man, I have no faith. I'm so sorry. I wish I did. I have no faith that Jimmy can last a year. Law-abiding. I really I don't think he can do it. Man, I think this boy's going to prison. Do you know what I mean?
Actually, page 2, he damaged the victim's property. Why be vague?
And damaged doesn't reflect it's irrevocable.
Yeah, it's funny how this little change from Kim, this came from Kim, is a point of contention. Very interesting, yeah.
We'd suggest destroyed item of personal property.
Works for us.
Okay.
Charles, was there anything else you found wanting in your brother's statement?
That is the question.
We're satisfied.
Okay, let's all go for a beer, yeah? Speaking of, can you imagine? I honestly feel like this whole thing could be just ironed out if they all get smashed together. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh my goodness, the things that would be said, the times that would be had, Chuck dancing naked. Okay, not naked, I'm so sorry. Chuck dancing in his underwear on the bar. Oh my goodness, sir. Do you know what I mean? Like his tie. Woo! Man, that's it. That would solve the show. I'm so sorry. You can argue all you want. I'm right.
Frankly, I sense a lack of remorse.
All right, lady, you got to back down.
One would like to hear an apology. Charles deserves...
Now?
Yes, Mr. McGill, now.
I get the way that he wouldn't want to do this. You should just do it and move on, mate.
Okay.
She's going to sense a lack of remorse in this.
Could you at least look your brother in the eye?
All right, mate, can we just not... You don't know the full context of this relationship. You're really like... Okay, he's doing it. Good, though. Fair enough.
I'm very sorry. I shouldn't have broken down your door. Doesn't matter how I was provoked.
That's true.
I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, you acted very rashly, mate. You shouldn't have gone. You shouldn't have gone.
I regret it all of it, more than you can imagine. Because you're my brother.
Yeah, this is true.
No one should treat his own brother like... Not ever.
Double meaning there, I think. Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, double meaning, big double meaning. Damn it. Yeah, no, sorry, I was being a little bit generous. I thought Jimmy was actually speaking from the heart because I do think, despite anything, underneath it all, he does just want to get on with Chuck, have a relationship with Chuck. He absolutely does. Do you know what I mean? And I thought that was what was coming through, but no, it's double meaning. It's like, yeah, no one should treat their brother like that, shouldn't they, Chuck? You know? Yeah, we're focusing on Chuck a little bit. He got the message.
The amount is $321.
That figure doesn't represent a full accounting.
It's $323.98.
Okay, rounding up to 324.
Includes the cassette tape, which was destroyed.
So petty. Let's all just chill. Well done, mate. You got to do that. Well done.
What do you say we get you home?
Party! Sorry. Well, I mean, they should. They absolutely should, man. Crack out the body. Do you know what I mean?
I'm putting you both on notice regarding the bar hearing. First thing, I'm filing a motion to suppress that tape.
Hello.
The tape that Jimmy destroyed, you mean?
There's no way there isn't a duplicate. You knew Jimmy was gonna break in. You wanted him.
Yeah, I love this picture. Kim facing up to these two. Yeah, powerful, stalwart, strong. As much as she is absolutely on Jimmy's side at this point, whichever way you want to come down on what's going on here, if you want to label, you know, Jimmy and Kim's side as the side that's a little bit crooked, fine, fair, whatever. It doesn't take away from the way that she is standing up to them and wielding her lawyership. That I don't know if that's a word. Throw it in there. You know, she is very much a fully fledged lawyer outside of HHM coming up against them here. And I like that for Kim. I like that she's got that moment.
There's no way you were gonna let him destroy the only copy of that.
She's thinking.
It's the first thing you did.
Kim, this is not how we do
Yeah, you can't prove that.
Jimmy destroyed the duplicate. It's fine, Howard.
Wow. Okay.
File whatever motions you'd like. It's your privilege.
I will. Count on it.
But
go on.
You should be aware, because I believe this will be your first disciplinary hearing.
Subtly, Chuck picking at her inexperience. Do you know what I mean? That's a condescending, underhanded thing to layer into conversation. Very subtly layered into conversation. Chuck does this almost without thinking. He tears people down. Look at what I've paused on. Kim's reaction to that, you know, her reaction to the little jab, the little jibe, which as much as I'm saying maybe isn't on purpose, I think it probably is on purpose, right? From Chuck's side of attacking her for her experience. That's kind of been the shtick, right? That was the shtick with Mesa Verde. That's what Chuck came at, you know, Mesa Verde at. That's how they got it, because he was like, well, at the end of the day, experience, we're experienced lawyers, you know? And yeah, again, he's using that, and it's like, what a way to get the audience behind Kim there. Do you know what I mean? There's a reason that the audience is put behind Jimmy, put behind Kim, as opposed to put behind Chuck, put behind Howard in the situation, because it's like Chuck keeps doing that kind of stuff, which automatically, Kim's already the underdog anyway, I think. She's much less of a heavy hitter than these two guys in HHM and everything that they have. But at the same time, from a character perspective, she is being arrayed below them just in the way that Chuck is talking to her, right? And that automatically makes her even more almost of an underdog, someone for the audience to get behind. It kind of artificially inserts that thing into the audience of like, come on, Kim, you can get him.
Motions aside, that tape will be played.
He's probably right, though. Like, I believe him when he says that.
What? Bingo.
Smashed it. Yes. Amazing. You don't need to tell me. I'm okay with it. Tell me later. I don't care. I like the smile. I like the confidence. I like the bingo. Perfect. Okay. I don't know. I have no idea. No idea. Not a clue. But clearly Chuck's done something. Giving away something. Perfect. All right. There we go. So that is the end of the episode. Sabrosito. Yeah. Very interesting. We're starting to see now, you know, the thing that I was talking about and the thing that I've been looking forward to since Pimento, really, of this pitting of the brothers, right? And we're getting a start to that. We're finally seeing the start to that. Also, I think a very interesting part of that is Kim's inclusion. I've talked about that a little bit this episode, but also what I mean by that is this idea of Kim as always being beaten down, always being a bit below, right? We saw that with HHM and her kind of striking out and having the meeting with, you know, Schweikert and Coakley and all that stuff, and then her coming into her own, deciding, knowing, revisiting what she kind of wanted out of her life and what she wanted from this, striking out on her own, doing her own thing. And now we're actually being given an opportunity as the audience, right? Where, you know, Kim's through line, her story has the potential to give us what we want in regard to Kim in fully being able to flex herself individually as a lawyer. And I think what has been so constant throughout is that, you know, Kim is very competent. The things that have been coming up against her have been the stuff from Howard, pitted against her, putting her down, all this stuff. She's obviously all away from that now. She is like, that's why I use the word individual. She's on her own. She's standing on her own 2 feet, coming up against this big behemoth of HHM and the two, Howard and Chuck, right? Very powerful people in that, holding her own. And that's very gratifying to watch as the audience, considering everything that we've seen of her. And not only that, coming off of that and boom, she's got something they don't know about. Maybe. Who knows? But she's got something. And that is very gratifying to see, considering her arc and her story. And finally her getting, you know, standing on her own 2 feet and demonstrating that knowledge, that strength, and that expertise as a lawyer. And I can't wait to see more of that. That's really enjoyable to watch for me. Anyway, that was episode 4 of Sabrosito. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, as always, to my beautiful patrons. Thank you so much, genuinely, for your support. Anyone wants to be a patron, links down below in the description. My early access YouTube content all the way over there if you are interested. If not, no problem. Don't you worry. Click on this video right here. Support me that way. Hey, let's get ourselves to 10K. Subscribe if you haven't already. And other than that, thank you so much again. And I will see you very, very soon.